Hello viewer and welcome to my channel. My name's EDDBUD and I specialise in shoe and running gear reviews. Today I'm going to give you an update on my training for the Salisbury Half Marathon. So 2 days completed into my 10-week training plan for the Salisbury Half Marathon personal best attempt. My place is secured for the Salisbury Half Marathon now, and I did notice when I was signing up, a bit of a boon really, that the start time is at 12 PM. This really is quite advantageous to me. Sometimes I'm out late on a Saturday evening doing musical performances and it isn't really the best preparation. Sometimes I don't get as much sleep as I really need to. So having a slightly later start time is really beneficial to me. Salisbury's only roughly about 1 hour's drive away, so it's not too far to go. Having a later start time certainly could be an advantage. Though I intend on keeping that weekend as free as possible to give me the best possible chance of getting that personal best time. I'd like to say thanks for all your comments, suggestions and recommendations about my shoe selection for the Salisbury Half Marathon. It's certainly given me a lot to think about. Surprisingly, when I tallied up all of the suggestions and recommendations from you, the Vaporfly 4% came out on top, but it was quite a close call. All three shoes in contention seem to have some positive points and they're all contenders in their own right. I'm going to leave my options open a little bit in terms of which shoe I do select, although I am going to take the advice of viewer Tim Grews, I hope I've pronounced that correctly Tim, who suggested that I should get out in the Vaporfly Next Percent at some half marathon pace miles and see how the shoe really does feel on foot. I do appreciate your suggestion Tim, and I am going to take your advice and in the next few weeks take the Next Percent out at some half marathon pace miles and see how they fare. Thanks again for all your comments and positive support. It really does mean so much to me. Please comment on this video and let me know about which races you are training for and what your targets are for those races. Please follow me on Strava and I can go in and support your progress towards those races and goals in return. It's so great to give out positive support to other people. In this life, it's very, very easy to be negative, pick up on those negative things. But do remember the song, You Get What You Give by the New Radicals. I think that's a really, really great way to live your life. Giving other people support, and sure enough, you'll get that in return. It's a good mantra for life, I think. So when possible, guys, I'm going to give you an update on my training. I've got about 10 weeks worth of training to do, so it's going to be a lot of videos, lots and lots of running, lots of miles. Well, that's just what we like as runners, hey? So Monday saw the first training session for this 10-week training block. It was steady miles, around about 4 miles in total at 7 minutes 30 per mile pace. That equates to about 4 minutes 40 per kilometre. Utilised the New Balance beacons for this run. It was certainly supposed to be a more sedate run, round about 5 out of 10 in terms of effort, but the weather really at the moment in terms of humidity and heat for the UK is actually quite high, so everyone's taken a little bit of time to adjust to it. I appreciate some of you guys run in much higher temperatures than this, but for us poor old people here in Blighty, it's really not too comfortable at the moment. It takes us a while to get used to it. By the time we get used to it, the weather changes anyway, and then we can complain about it being too cold. So just bear with us. I also managed to forget my hat on the run, which meant that rather than utilising it for its kind of sun protective qualities, I ended up not having a hat and getting very, very sweaty. I tend to sweat a lot from my head because I don't have a particularly large amount of hair, as you may well have seen. But that was going into my eyes and it really made for quite an uncomfortable experience, and one which I don't want to repeat anytime soon. So those stinging eyes meant that I overshot my planned halfway kind of turnaround point and ended up doing about 0.6 of a mile extra going in the wrong direction. I had something to do when I got home, so it was quite important that I tried to get back on time, so I was a bit pushed in the end. But the beacons held up really well. I managed to hit that time around about 7 minutes 26 seconds per mile pace, which is great. So I was a little bit under what it was suggested I should do within the training plan. These shoes really are a bit of a wonder to me. I'm really, really sad I didn't pick them up before, maybe about 6-7 months ago. That aside, I held out, managed to get them for a great price. I'm going to use this shoe into the ground. It really is fantastic. I was quite intrigued as to how heavy the New Balance Beacons actually are, so I did weigh them earlier on to double check, and it comes in at about 220 grams for a UK size 11, so that's a US size 12. I think that's about 7.76 ounces. So it really is an incredibly light shoe. It really is great, guys. If you get an opportunity to pick up a pair, maybe the version 1s are really cheap if you can find them. It's a bit like the A-Team. If you can find them, I would recommend hiring the New Balance Beacon version 1. Had no problems on that first run with breathability, fit, feel, nothing really, apart from the dreaded insole slipping problem. I got to near the end of the run, not so much in the left foot, but in the right foot, there was probably about 2 centimeters of space at the front of the shoe in the toe box where the insole had slipped backwards. So it's starting to happen. I knew it would. It's kind of the one only serious negative about the shoe, but not a problem. I'm going to nick some of the wife's glue and glue the insoles in, so won't have that problem again. So moving on to Tuesday, I had that penciled in as a speed work day. There was a chance of thunder during the window of time that I had for this run, but fortunately that didn't occur until much later into the evening. It was quite a considerable electrical storm actually, and pretty incredible to see. I was up, I couldn't sleep. I had something in my eye actually. I don't know where it had come from, little bit of grit or something. It was really bothering me. And as I got up and I was trying to sort of clean my eye, I suddenly started seeing flashes and stuff and thought, oh gosh, you know, what have I done here? Have I done something to my eye? And then realised it was in fact a electrical storm outside. So Pegasus Turbos seemed a good choice for a speedwork session. It was to include about 2.5 kilometers of warm-up and then 5 repetitions of 800 meters at 5k speed with 200 meters recovery in between. I was a little off on the first repetition. That first 800 meters I hit about 4 minutes 10 per kilometer, but I got much closer on repetitions 2, 3, 4 and 5 and was just on. But I certainly needed the recovery in between on a couple of those. It was pretty hot, about 28 degrees Celsius. Bear in mind this is around about 6 o'clock in the evening, so again, bear with me on that one, guys. You know, we are in the UK here, we struggle with the heat sometimes. It's not typical for us here. But that aside, I am getting used to the heat now, and I was really pleased and proud of myself to hit that sort of 4 minutes per kilometer pace on those repetitions. That's pretty much bang on my 5k pace, so really pleased. I had about 2.5 kilometers worth of warm down. After that, nice easy pace, about 5 minutes per kilometer pace. The Pegasus Turbos were fantastic. Got to say, I think that's the kind of niche for them. They worked really well as a shoe to use for speed work. These seem to handle the variation in speed somewhat better than the Pegasus Turbo version 1. Not sure what it is, they just seem a little bit more nimble. They seem a little bit more supportive really to me in the forefoot. It just doesn't feel as if my foot's kind of flapping around so much inside the shoe. That aside, I did enjoy my experience in the Pegasus Turbo version 1, but this is a real winner for me. I did love running in this shoe yesterday. It made those repetitions easy. Well, I wouldn't say easy, but it made them achievable. Please do comment below, guys. Let me know what shoes you're using for specific training runs. I'm always really interested in stuff like that. As you can tell, I'm quite interested in running shoes. So a really good solid start to the training block. I'm going to try and stick to my training plan as closely as life will allow. Thanks for watching, and please do consider subscribing and hit that bell for notifications so you can receive updates as to when new videos are launched. Please do comment below, tell me about any races you have coming up or your training. I'm always interested to know. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you.